So for today's video, you're going to need a box of chalk pastels, a pencil, a sheet of paper, and some kind of scratch paper to be able to tap off and clean your chalk pastels on. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we want to do today is we want to break our paper up into 8 sections. And that way we'll have different spaces in order to do our work in. So I'm going to first put my paper in the horizontal direction. And then I want to find my halfway point on one side and just make a little bit of a mark. It's just an estimate. And then I'm going to find my halfway point on my other side and make a little mark. And then I'm going to take and connect those 2 lines. And it's okay if it's not perfect. So now I have a horizontal line going across my paper. Now I want to do the same thing going the other way. I'm going to find that halfway point in my on my other side of my paper and the halfway point on this side of my paper, and I make a mark. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect those together. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal spaces. Now once again, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line here, breaking it in half, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line there, breaking it in half. And so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal spaces. And now I'm going to go ahead and try a different technique in each one. So the first one I want to do is something called blending. So I'm going to go ahead and write blending. And you can write that with your pencil. So blending is our first technique today. Now to blend, you're going to need at least 2 colors. So I think I'm going to start my first blend. I'm going to use yellow, and I think I'm going to use a green. Okay, so I take my color, and I'm going to go ahead and just take and put a strip of yellow going across. Now I'm going to take my green, and the green is a bit darker color. That's why I decided to do this one afterwards. Now I'm going to take and blend my green going in the other direction. And if I want, I can take a little bit of yellow back in, especially in the middle. So now I have a blend of yellow to dark green. Now you'll notice I have a lot of pastel on the top of my paper. So what I want to do is I want to take my scratch paper, and I'm going to lift my paper up, and I'm going to tap it off. And see how all of that extra chalk went onto there, and it's no longer on my paper. Now it's important that I don't blow. If I blow, that dust is going to go all over my workspace. So I always want to make sure that I do a tap off as opposed to blowing. So now I have a blend of yellow into green. Let's try one more color. We'll see what we get here. I think I'm going to do a blend. I want to show you how it works when you use white with another color. So I'm going to use white and red. And I'm going to first come in and put down some white. Now this is going to be a little hard for you to see, but you'll be able to see more when I take my red in. I'm going to take my red in the other direction. Oh, and you're starting to see where I put it in with my white. And then I take my white back in on top, and I do a little bit more of a blend. I'm going to take a little bit more red in there. So you see now how I have a white blending into my red. Now I need to do a tap off again because my paper has a lot of extra chalk on it. Tap, tap. And there we have 2 blends. Now if you want to go ahead and try another blend up here, you can choose 2 more colors. Now the next technique we're going to learn is called hatching. So you can go ahead and write the word hatching. Make that a little bit taller. Hatching. So with hatching, you're going to choose two colors again. I'm going to start with my dark blue. And we take and we put lines going across. Sometimes this is also called feathering. So I'm going to just take and do a few lines going up and down. And then I take another color and I'm going to go up above a little bit, and I'm going to hatch into this one. And you see how that starts to get a blend of the colors. So this one is called hatching. And I can go back in again if I want to, if I want them to blend a little bit more. So now I have blending, I have hatching. My next one is going to be called cross hatching. So you can write cross hatching on your paper. Now cross hatching is a little bit different than hatching. I'm going to choose another color. Once again, I'm going to take and do those marks, just like I did with hatching. But with cross hatching, you take and you put a cross mark over the top of them, just like that. Let me show you one more time. So you take and you first do hatching, and then you take and you do a crisscross over the top of them. That is called cross hatching. And you could do it with more than one color if you want. You could play with a few of them. First you hatch, and then you cross hatch. That is cross hatching. Our next technique is called flat edge. I want everyone to go ahead and write the word flat edge on their paper. Now with flat edge, you're going to take a piece of chalk, you're going to put it on its side, on its flat edge, and you're going to rub it on. And you could add more than one color if you want to, but for now we're just going to use one. So that is called using the flat edge of your paper. Now you'll see I'm starting to get a lot of chalk build up. It's getting a little bit messy. So I'm going to bring over my scratch paper, tap, tap, tap. I slide that back over. So we've done our blending, our hatching, our cross hatching, and our flat edge. The next one we're going to do, we're going to come down to this bottom corner, is called layering. So go ahead and write layering on your paper. Now with layering, it's a little bit similar to flat edge. We start off with that flat edge and we do one color, but then we can take another one, we do a flat edge with it as well, and we can start to do a layering of colors. So you can see how I have the dark green tied in with the blue. So we layer our colors together. Layering also makes a lot of extra chalk. So once again, we're going to go ahead and do a tap off. Our next one is something called short strokes. So let's write short strokes on our paper. And short strokes, you're actually going to use short strokes. So you choose a color and you just take the edge of it and you make short strokes. Now I can use different colors as well. I could build my short strokes up. Let's add in one more. There I have short strokes. Our next one is called stippling. Stippling. Go ahead and write stippling on your paper. Now stippling is fun to do. It's a little bit loud. You're going to take and you make little tiny marks. You don't want to hit too hard because it can break your chalk. You can use more than one color when you stipple. You could use lots of colors. So making lots of little marks is called stippling. Stippling. And the last technique we're going to learn today is called scumbling. Scumbling. Everyone go ahead and write scumbling on their paper. Scumbling is a fun word to say, and it's also very fun to do scumbling with your chalk pastels. So you take, and what you're doing is you're basically making a curvy, wavy worm. And you can scumble with more than one color. I'm going to add some yellow scumbling in now. You see that my scumbles blend together a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of orange. And I'm still just making a long, wavy, whirly snake. That is called scumbling. Now, before I'm finished, I'm going to want to do a final tap off. So I'm going to bring my scratch paper over. I'm going to tap it off. Now in this paper, I have one more thing I want to do with it. I want to check through my chalk pastels and see if any of them are dirty. See how like this one is dirty? If I go to use that later on without cleaning it, I will get orange and red in my colors. So I want to look at my chalk pastels and I'm going to use my scratch paper and I'm going to clean off any colors that are dirty. I'm going to check my white too. The white and the yellow have a tendency to get really dirty. See how there's some red on my white? I'm going to clean that off as well. If one breaks, that's not a big deal. You're just going to take and put both of them back in your box. Chalk pastels just have a tendency to break. Now, this piece of paper, I want to very carefully take and get all the powder into the middle. I'm going to fold it in half once. And then I'm going to fold it in half again, and again, and again. And now all those little chalk bits are inside of there. So I'm going to go ahead and I can take and put that into my trash can. And you're also going to notice that you might have some chalk pastels on your fingers. They're a little bit messy, so you're going to need to go in and wash your hands. Thanks for coming and creating with me today. Bye-bye.